One of the things I love about being in the wedding industry is working with so many passionate creatives who not only love what they do, but really care about who they do it for. As one half of a wedding portrait and film team myself, we were able to sit down with a few vendors we love and have a raw, no-frills conversation about how these wedding professionals got started. We talk about their opinions in the industry, how they show up for others, red flags couples should be looking out for, and other hilariously shocking moments they've encountered while helping couples say, I do. By the way, if you're curious about how to find a wedding photographer that fits into your vision for your big day, check out our $10 Vibe Guide. It's a downloadable tutorial that walks you through the steps of defining your style. Welcome to Vendors We Love. Alrighty.
Killer.
Yay! DJ KoreywithaK.
Holla.
Thank you so much for doing this, number one. I'm really grateful for you agreeing to do this. We love interviewing vendors that we vibe with, and you vibe. Your music is sick. Like, when we shot that wedding, Justin and I shot that wedding, we were like, I have never heard a DJ kill it this way. So you are hands down our favorite DJ, without a doubt. So yes, we absolutely love you. I want to start off by giving folks a chance to get to know who you are. So where can we find you? What do you do? Tell us about you.
Okay, cool. I'm a DJ, but I specialize in weddings. Nothing I'd rather do than celebrate some LOVE.
Yes.
I'm at Power Plant Live, a lot of the beach bars, Tiki Lee's, Sunset Cove, a lot of the loonies as well, like Perry Hall, Bel Air, College Park. But at 31 years old, I really have found my passion being in the wedding industry. It's one thing when I'm at Power Plant Live and I got a room full of people, and at the end of the night they're like, man, you killed it tonight. It means a lot.
Yeah.
But nothing beats getting the hug from the bride and groom, talking about they're never going to forget that night. It just hits me right here.
Yes,
So
I love it.
As soon as I experienced that, I started kind of just gearing towards doing that more and kind of fading out of the bars. I'm still at some of the bars. It's good publicity, kind of paid practice, but my focus is weddings for sure.
Nice. So you got into it. I guess tell me about your first wedding experience. What was that like?
Okay,
do you remember it?
I'll never forget it. So I'm 31 now. I started when I was 23. I was serving tables at Bob Evans up there off Route 24 in Bel Air.
Okay.
And I had, I would work Sunday mornings, church crowd at Bob Evans. I had tons of regulars, a list this long.
Oh, wow.
And I'll never forget, I was at the big round table 76, and it's the same family that comes see me every Sunday. They can walk in the door, and I just start putting their order in because they came every week. I already knew what they wanted. So I'm at the table saying, hey, how y'all doing? Food's coming. And the dad of the family, Dave, was like, dude, we're getting married a week from this Saturday, and our DJ just had to bail. His mother unexpectedly, I guess, passed away or something like that, which is super sad.
Yeah.
But he continued to say, we love you. We know about your radio experience. Can you do it? And I'm like, well, Dave, I don't have any experience or equipment, but I'll give it a shot for sure. And I, sure enough, bought a clip-on bow tie, rented some speakers from Guitar Center, had my little dual iPod fader, nothing even close to this. Really no mixing involved. There's more so just song choice and announcements. But I did it. I nailed it. Absolutely fell in love with it.
Yes.
I quit the radio like a month and a half later and started letting people know, hey, I DJ weddings.
Wow.
And so, the next one was like my best friend's cousin's wedding in their backyard. But that's how that's how I grew to get the experience and, kind of, gain some of that insight as to what's going to make a, successful wedding DJ.
Nice. I love it. Okay, next question. Tell me about your ideal wedding. Like, who is your couple? Who are your people? Whose party are you there for? Who's the DJ?
Anyone that wants their party, their wedding to be a banger. All right? Like, I'm talking party of your lifetime. We'll keep our pinkies up during ceremony and dinner, and then we dim the lights and treat it like a club.
Nice.
Is usually my vibe for sure.
Very cool. So, in terms of music, who would you say, or what's your favorite musical style, if you have one?
2000s hip-hop and Baltimore club music.
Amen.
I also am starting to really fall in love with some of the EDM, fist pumping. They got some cool stuff there as well. Talk about a top-tier energy. But realistically, I love all music. My favorite personal music is reggae. Okay. If anyone ever wants some Revolution or Soja at their wedding, I'm your guy.
Okay.
But 2000s hip-hop is probably my number one go-to.
Okay. So I love talking about vendors, like do's and do nots, so that couples know what to look for when it comes to booking their vendor. When would you say the best time to look for your DJ is? Like, when should couples start looking for their DJ?
At least a year out for sure.
Okay.
But if you're looking in this market, if you're looking for a September or October date, you better be closer to 2 years.
Oh, wow.
They always are the first months to book up.
Okay.
I think it's just a matter of people really enjoying the idea of having a fall wedding with the leaves changing colors. Also, it tends to be like the nicest temperature of the year. It's not too hot, not too cold.
Absolutely.
And it's not the springtime where you're like 50-50, is it going to rain or not?
Absolutely.
So September, October, if you're looking for those dates, 2 years is probably a good place to start.
Okay.
Locking in some of your vendors. But I'd say ideally, you know, I'd say about a year out.
A year. Okay. What would you say some of the red flags are when it comes to looking for a good DJ? Like, how would you know if someone isn't worth it?
Well, I mean, I can only speak to my own self. Like, why I know I'm worth it is because this is my passion. There's nothing I'd rather be doing. And I put my, you know, every ounce of energy, my heart and soul into every wedding I do.
Right.
And I know there's a lot of guys out there to where it's a bit more of just a paycheck. It's a job, another gig, another wedding. They're not emotionally invested, you know. And so while I'm out there, you know, really trying to get to know clients and figure out what kind of music they love and, you know, how can I curate those playlists to like cater to them while also, you know, playing the good stuff that all the guests are going to want. There's a lot of other guys out there that they're, you know, paid iPods. You know, they're just going to play the song. Oh, Brian Groom requested it. Here it is. While they yawn and take a seat, you know. And so at the end of the day, just if you can find someone that is instilled with like passion about this, you know, this career, this job, then you're in good hands.
Nice. Now, Justin and I always talk about how good of a host you are. Were you always that good of a host? I heard you talk about radio experience. Like, how did you fall into that energy?
So I definitely wasn't always as good as I am now. It's really one of those things you can only get good at by doing.
Right.
And so my first 30, 40 weddings, I was more nervous, you know, a little less sure of like the equipment I was using, and you know, more so just like I hope it goes well.
Yeah.
And you know, again, just in time, you start to reinvest into bigger, better equipment and learn how it works properly, and also, you know, prepare backup plans A, B, and C in case things go wrong. I would say that my main, what I would attribute to most of my success being a showman, you know, a host, is serving tables for 15 years. I mean, you know, it's just in my DNA to walk up to a table of strangers and, you know, connect with them. You know? So
I feel like oh, go ahead. I didn't cut you off.
No, please. That's it. That's about it. You know, it takes a certain kind of person to, you know, greet a table of strangers or a room full of strangers and, you know, connect with them and, you know, try to pump them up. And I love doing it. You know, I love it.
I feel like we have this picture of you like this high in the air from the wedding we did together. You were like up there. And I'm like, how does he find the energy to jump so high? Your energy is so big. Like it takes up, it fills the room. And I think that's definitely part of the appeal. Like that's definitely what makes you, I feel like you stand out as a, well, in addition to your music, but you definitely stand out.
And it's funny you say that because I'm literally out at bridal shows talking to clients. Like I'm a DJ, but first I'm an entertainer.
Okay.
You know, I'm a host. I DJ for sure. Right, but my main goal, in addition to that, is bringing the energy and getting everyone amped up.
Yes.
You know, not standing behind the decks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and now, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I'm like, are y'all ready to celebrate some love?
There we go.
You know,
yes.
Get the energy going. Yes. So I'm an entertainer first and a DJ second.
I love it. So would you say that? Well, I don't know much about like how DJs charge or what's included in packages. Is hosting something that folks ask for separately? Is that something they should look for when it comes to their DJ? Like, is it depending on who you're working with?
I'd say it varies across the board. You know, I know a lot of wedding DJs. I feel like a lot of people, you're either really good at DJing or you're really good at MCing. There's not a ton of people out there that are like the best of both worlds, where they're bringing the energy and mixing really well and reading the crowd really well. And so that is something that I think separates me from the pack a bit, is just kind of bringing both of those, you know, together. There are a lot of DJs that are even better than I am at mixing music, but then holding the microphone, they're scared to death, right? And there's other guys that like super confident on the mic, but when it comes to mixing music, they're, you know, kind of, they come up a little short. So, yeah, I'd say, you know, if possible, search out someone that can do both. You know, otherwise you might be paying a little bit more, because if you got to pay for two guys to be there, odds are it's going to cost a little more.
Yeah, to keep that party going for sure. Yeah. So I think we talked about this before, but when it comes to someone with unique musical taste, how comfortable are you with kind of catering to what they want? Are you someone who's like, I love new music, I want to learn, I'm ready to like fuse it all together? Or do you feel like you have a niche that you prefer to stay within?
I mean, I definitely prefer to stay in my niche where it's, you know, universal music that everyone knows, where they're, I mean, every wedding has 3 or 4 generations present. So you got grandparents, parents, people our age. Some of us have kids that they bring. So, you know, and ideally I'm working with crowds that love all the same music I love, you know, and we're playing this, you know, the top 70s songs and 90s and 2000s and things of that nature. But I totally understand that that top 40 genre of all those decades isn't necessarily everyone's taste.
Right.
So when people do come to me, you know, clients of mine do come and say, hey, we want to, you know, we have an eclectic taste in music. We'd rather have, you know, this vibe for cocktail hour, this vibe for dinner, and this vibe for dancing. I'm all about it. You know, it's your day, you know. So while I would rather play 2000s hip hop, I'm super willing to take the music that you enjoy, learn it, you know, test it out right here in the home studio. And then by the time the big day comes, you know, we're grooving for sure.
Yeah, I love it. He's prepared. There is no last
100%.
minute. You're ready. You're coming at it. Okay, so well, a couple questions, I guess. The first one is, I noticed at the wedding we did, there was, I think it was called like a generations dance or like a decade
Anniversary dance.
Is that what it's called? Okay, so that was my first time coming across that. So are there any other unique kinds of like dances that you've seen happen at weddings?
So the anniversary dance is one of my favorites. For those who don't know, it's like you get all the married couples on the dance floor, you play 2 or 3 slow songs back to back, and throughout those slow songs, you, as the MC, I start to announce, you know, a certain amount of time. So it always starts off like, all right, friends and family, if you've been married for less than 5 hours, it's your turn to exit the dance floor. Shout out to Mr. and Mrs., right? So they get out. 30 seconds later, if you've been married less than 1 year, you know, those couples leave. And then 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. The wedding I did last night, the grandparents of the bride had been married 65 years. And they stood out there. I played Elvis, Can't Help Falling in Love. It was dedicated to them. I think they were pushing 90 years old. So they were like real slowly dancing, but we all had chills. It was magical. So that's kind of the purpose of the anniversary dance. Thanks to TikTok, I have come across a lot of other awesome ideas. Recently, we did a bridal party introduction. We kept all the bridesmaids together, and we called them the Bride Tribe. And we kept all the groomsmen together. We called them the Groom Squad. So we brought the ladies out to Man, I Feel Like a Woman. We brought the fellas out to Who Let the Dogs Out. And prior to even introducing them, we had set up a 6-foot like beer pong table in the center of the dance floor. So the ladies come out and they take one side. The fellas come out and they take the other side. It's not beer pong, we're playing flip cup. And the bride and groom come out, and the groom goes to the Groom Squad, the bride goes to the Bride Tribe. And, you know, I played, you know, I counted down to 3 and we started a game of flip cup. And so in this specific instance, the brides won, which made all the groomsmen have to get on one knee and do the smearing off ice, you know, chug you know, they got iced. And so I started playing Ice Ice Baby, Vanilla Ice with it. It was epic.
That's so cool.
Really.
So do you get couples that allow you to have fun and like play games like that, or is it kind of a mixed bag?
It's a mix, you know, for sure. To each their own. As, you know, a DJ, I start talking to them 4, 5, 6 months ahead of time. I'm always pitching some of these ideas. Sometimes people's eyes light up and they're like, we want that energy. Other times they're like, not for us. And, you know, to each their own, for sure. But it is something that I always try to recommend, just because it's tried, true, tested, and proven to get the energy going. You know, it's not something you see at every wedding.
Exactly, because the generations dance or the anniversary dance, we had never seen it before.
It's cool, isn't it?
That is so cool. I loved it. Okay, what is the most, I guess, the craziest thing you've seen at a wedding? Because we've seen some things. Oh, God. I
hope this couple doesn't see this, but Lord. There was a long time ago, probably like 3, 4 years ago, bride and groom, and the bride, her father was like estranged, you know, wasn't in her life. A year prior to the wedding, he had introduced himself, and they started trying to mend that. So all of a sudden it's the day of the wedding, and the stepfather who raised her walked her down the aisle, did the father-daughter dance with her, which must have been tough for the you know, biological father to witness or whatever. Not a huge deal until we started partying and dancing, and I guess the estranged father had started taking drinks back and starts telling people like what to do and how to act and don't dance like that. And the groom came and knocked him right out.
Oh my God.
So I'm DJing, I'm a shorter guy, and I just see this crowd of people, they're like, oh! I'm thinking someone's doing the worm on the dance floor or something. So I hop around, I'm like, what's going on? That man was laid out slumped on the dance floor like this. They had to come and cart him out and lock the door, and you know. But then everyone's like, "Let's fucking go!" And we started right back up. But
wow.
Now in hindsight, I'm like, oh man, that was
awkward. That is tough. How was the bride afterwards though? Was she okay with it?
Yeah, you know, it's like, hey.
Woo.
I mean, I feel like in hindsight's 20/20, but he probably shouldn't have been doing what he was doing. Offending everybody and calling the shots. Like, where you been the last 25 years? You know,
a little late guy.
So he got laid out.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So last question: what has been, or what do you see? I guess what is one of your favorite trends that you're seeing in weddings today?
I mean, I am a huge fan of some of those high energy things like that intro we just talked about. At the end of the day, I feel like back in the day, weddings were pretty stiff, pretty, stuffy, oh, let's listen to the same music and have some okay food and celebrate. You know, nowadays it's really gearing towards, people are going all the way out for their food. I had a, the chocolate fountain where you dip your strawberry. Imagine that same fountain, but with Chick-fil-A sauce and nuggets.
Oh my God.
So people are like taking a nugget and putting it in the sauce and eating it.
The Chick-fil-A sauce is the best too. It's the best.
Needless to say, I didn't need to eat much dinner that night because I stuffed myself on cocktail hour that day.
I would too.
So that was killer. And really just, the high energy dance floors. I mean, you're playing some fist pumping EDM, some booty shaking, club music, Baltimore club music, whatever. I feel like, early 2000s weddings probably weren't going that risque. And nowadays it's,
People don't care.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen, like, a grandma get offended by, like, lyrics that were too intense? Because I've heard of folks, like, saying, okay, grandma, you got to leave at 9 because we're going to turn up at 10. Like, have you seen that?
So one thing I have seen that's very similar to that, and it pertains to a grandmother, was we did the bouquet and garter ceremony, and this bride and groom, awesome people, great energy, wanted a party, like all caps, party. So we sit the bride down, and I forget what song we played off the top, but it was something like slow motion, sexual, like Old Usher or something like that. And the groom picks the bride up off the chair, lays her on the ground, and starts like air humping her for like the whole rest of the time. And I did see out of the corner of my eye, grandma was like,
oh my gosh.
And so she started like turning away. The rest of the crowd though was like,
oh my goodness.
So I have seen grandmas, maybe get a little thrown off. But at the end of the day, it's not their wedding, and that's a good middle ground. It's like, all right, grandma, you're not going to like the bouquet and garter dance that we're going to do, so you might want to see yourself out, or at least use the restroom.
Time before a coffee break. I love it. I love it. So if folks want to book you, where can they find you? How can they reach out to you? What's the best way to go about it?
So I work with Baltimore's Premier Event Solutions. We got a whole team of booking agents. It's real easy to get in contact with them, either via email or just call in the office. They handle a lot of my contracts and payments, kind of the back end of the work. And then once the event is on my calendar, that's when I'm going to hit up my clients to start the planning process. So the office number is 410-630-4121. And my main booking agent is Samantha at Baltimore's, plural, event, singular, solutions, plural.com.
I'm glad this is on video so I can
Samantha at Baltimore's event solutions.com.
Nice.
And what you do is just shoot her an email with your date, maybe the request for me, the start and end times, and then like basic contact info. She'll draw up a quote/contract, send it to them via email. They can e-sign it, send it right back, and then she'll follow up with a credit card authorization email.
Nice. And I know that you are helping to develop other DJs. If you're unavailable, are you able to recommend folks who you feel like are a good fit?
100%, 1,000%.
Yes.
I have a couple guys that I consider my proteges on my team, who I've really taken under my wing. I mean, 3 or 4 of them I've trained at upwards of 10 or 12 weddings apiece.
Perfect.
So they've seen me firsthand, and they ask the right questions. I'll fill them in with all the small details that might get overlooked. Seth, Marcus, Insa, Cleavon, Dave, Adam, they're all fantastic.
Nice, we love it.
Junior Corey with a K is the center.
I love it. Well, we're going to tag them too. Make sure they get a shout out. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. This guy, he's legit. He's legit. He's definitely hot.
Appreciate that. As are they. What? The dream team. You know
book us together. Team. We will have a blast. We love it.
What's that? You got Heart Speaks and Corey with a K? You got the A team.
Your wedding is on top. We love it. Yes, I
100%.
love it. Thank you again. I really do appreciate you.
As I do.
And he cooks, by the way. I don't know if you're still recording, but the food, A1. We're here for it.
Wait till they try my kale. Next time they come, we're going to have some kale.
Yes. Make Justin eat kale.
Appreciate y'all.
We love it. Thank you again.